Hello everyone. Today we are going to look at the upcoming full moon in Pisces on the 21st, and then on the equinox, the autumnal equinox, which is going to show the energy patterns at our disposal for the next half year. Usually the vernal equinox is for the full year, for the full solar year, and the vernal the autumnal equinox is for half a year. So we are going to look at that, especially what it brings, what chances or what potentials it brings for London or anyone in England. And then we are going to look at a little configuration that I wanted to show you on the 23rd. So we are going to cover 3 days. This video is not about philosophy, it's about karmic astrology. So those who don't know anything about astrology won't understand a single word probably, and those who are interested in karmic astrology will see some interesting features, hopefully. So let's take a look at our full moon in Pisces coming on the 21st. And it is at the last degrees of Virgo Pisces. The sun is at Virgo 29 degrees. And the moon at Pisces, the 29th degree of Pisces, which is a very important fixed star, Sheat, Beta Pegasus. But the whole opposition, the sun-moon opposition, is trined and sextiled by Sedna. Sedna is currently the longest orbital period object. It has an orbital period of 11,500 years. And in karmic astrology, Sedna describes dissection energies, creation through dissection. Very often, it could mean some really nasty stuff, but in karmic astrology, we consider it as a vehicle of the potential to be able to dissect everything that is not working in your life and then put it back together in a different way so that it is workable, it is feasible, and you can utilize it then. Sedna, if you look at the mythology, it's a very, very tragic mythology, really, because it's about a young Inuit girl who lives with her father, and then the father is forcing her to marry the first guy who comes in, who is a birdman, and takes her into a nest which is very cold, and she doesn't know what to do there. Then the father realizes what's happened and tries to rescue her. They start paddling on the ocean, and then the birdman comes after them, and the father then throws her out again into the water, and then chops off her limbs, first her fingers, and then her hands, and then her arms. So it's really a horror story, and it does denote or signify abuse and also betrayal within the family. But on a larger scale, because Sedna is such a slow-moving celestial object that it's hardly really personal by its placement. It becomes personal when it is conjunct a personal planet or one of your angles or your nodes. Then it becomes personal, and then it may denote those nasty things. But as a transpersonal vehicle in karmic astrology, it really denotes the ability to dissect the non-working elements of your life and to rearrange them into a workable, feasible pattern. And this little object is actually trining the sun. It's an earth trine, so with the help of it, you can actually manage your life in a nicer way. But what's important is that the moon is aligned with Sheat, Beta Pegasus, and this is one of the healing words for suicide victims. In the third dimension, the greatest sin that you can commit is to destroy your physical body. Now, there are many ways of suicide, and of course, there are drastic ways that end your life in a second, and there are longer terms for it when you are abusing your physical body when you are not catering for its needs, not looking after it properly, or even using substances that are making it deteriorate. So if this occurs and the soul has this deep wound to carry, and Sheat is one of those healing words when you can actually put this into perspective, and you can realize and learn how to treat your physical body and how to cherish physical incarnation here in the third dimension. Let's look at the equinox chart for London. Again, I need to share. I don't know how to talk and share. This is something that I always keep running into. And this is the chart for London. And very, very briefly, if you look at it, Uranus is rising. So the next half year will be shaky for you guys my friends and my best friend in London, actually. I hope you are going to manage and hold on to stuff. And then Venus is on the descendant, and the Uranus-Venus opposition is quite fascinating because Venus is at its detriment, at the same time ruling Uranus. And Uranus-Venus aspects are always about freedom and commitment, the urge to commit, to love, to belong to someone, to create harmony, and the urge to break free. And those are not really reconcilable energies. And here you have them in an opposition right on the ascendant-descendant angle. So it's not going to be a very easy half a year for all you over there. And then Pluto is on the midheaven, which means you need to transform your destiny. You need to make very important destiny choices. And if you look at the configuration, it's still, you know what, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to stop this and bring in another chart because I prepared. So these are the highlights of the equinox chart for London. I already mentioned Pluto on the midheaven, Uranus on the ascendant, Venus on the descendant. What is really fascinating is how the Lilith energies are so prominent. All three astrological Liliths have very important roles in this chart. The Sun, of course, as it moved into Libra, is aligned with the supergalactic center. You may remember the supergalactic center is one of the key celestial areas in transcendental karmic astrology, and all three such key celestial areas are linked to or describe some sort of karmic dilemma. The Sun's karmic dilemma on the supergalactic center is nothing is ever enough. It's very interesting that in this age, this notion of nothing is ever enough is so strongly manifesting. I mean, look around. Those people who have a lot of money, they are buying 2, 4, 6, 7 cars, 2, 3, 4 homes, and they're trying to amass property and belongings, and they're still not happy. And usually the supergalactic center first manifests as such hunger for the trivial and for the for monetary or other possessions. But then all of a sudden it can flip, so to speak, and it can turn into a quest for knowledge. So those who have the first degree of Libra prominent have this urge to either amass material goods or to amass knowledge. And this is how the autumnal equinox is starting. Mars is close to the Sun. It's an applying conjunction. So the Sun is actually going to be exactly conjunct Mars in a couple of days. The chart ruler Venus is on the descendant, emphasizing the Venus-Uranus opposition, and also emphasizing that you need to look at the issue of open enemies and relationships for the next half year. And as I said, the Liliths are very prominent because there's the asteroid Lilith conjunct the moon. which is in Aries, so it's a fighting moon. And also, actually, the moon is squashed between asteroid Lilith and Aries. Drastically altered outward circumstances are highlighted by the moon, but the moon is backed up by asteroid Lilith, which is the revolt against injustice. All this in the 12th house, a little bit hidden, but you know, it's still there. Opposite them in Libra is Mercury, and Mercury is ruling the North Node. And Mercury is in a loose conjunction with Dark Moon Lilith, which is the curse, and Vesta, which is the focusing principle. So you have this opposition right here. And then you have the North Node conjunct Black Moon Lilith and Ceres. Two very strong feminine archetypes are there on the destiny point. Ceres is the nurturing principle, the mother archetype, and Lilith is the returning goddess who goes back into the Garden of Eden and gives the apple to Eve so that she gets the knowledge she needs to understand when she became Adam's wife, second wife. So this whole chart is about finding some sort of balance between freedom and commitment, to become strong, to exercise the Lilith energies in a wise way, in a good way, to pay attention to what is important to you, to be able to rearrange stuff that no longer is valid or feasible, and at the same time to pay attention to everything that is happening around you. That's going to be important because this is how you will be able to change your life. I did highlight this T-square involving the moon, Pluto, and Mercury. It's actually, you see the Aries-Pluto square is still exact, I mean, almost to the second, really. And then Mercury is at 24, 25 degrees Libra. So here you have another impact of, you know, this moving T-square, because the Aries-Pluto square has been there and will be there for quite a while. And whenever another celestial object is around 24, 25 degrees, it is going to make a configuration. You have the Mercury-Jupiter air trine there. So yes, you will be able to understand what's going on. And actually Jupiter is still dissolving the Pluto Aries square. And the moon's role is very important because whenever you see any of the, I mean, either of the luminaries close to a configuration, but not exact, like 4 or 5 degrees away, which doesn't make it part of the configuration. It is simply highlighting the whole. It gives you a perspective. So when the sun and the moon are there tightly, then they are becoming part of the configuration. But whenever they are about 4 or 5 degrees away, and as you know, you may remember, I keep telling you this, configurations have a 2-degree orb maximum. And when there are chart points like the ascendant or the nodes, the degree is 1.5. The orb is 1.5 degrees because these are non-radiating objects. So you have to make the orb smaller. But when either of the luminaries are there, then what happens, the sun consciously illuminates the whole, gives you a conscious perspective of what's happening, while the moon gives you a psychic, spiritual approach. It's less prominent, but more psychic, and it could actually contain more important information for you to understand. So that is happening on the equinox. And then on the 23rd, this is the configuration that we are going to experience. It actually consists of the T-square, and no, this is not it, sorry. This is what's happening. Okay, hold on, stop share. I'm not very good at this. I must apologize for some reason. Okay, hopefully now yes, this is the one that is good. Here, this is on the 23rd, you still have the Uranus-Venus opposition, but at the same time, you have an exact Pallas Athena-Juno square. It's a mutable square, and then the two asteroids are kind of dissolving the opposition. And of course, the sun is still tightly aligned with the supergalactic center. So what does this mean? You do have a little engine right here. A little engine is made up by a square, a sextile, and a quincunx, as opposed to the normal engine, which is made up by a trine, a square, and a quincunx. This is a less effective. It's still an engine, so it still can carry a lot, but it's less effective than the regular one with the trine, because the trine lends blessing to the space-time moment, whereas the sextile lends potentials. So sextiles only work when you do something about them, okay? And especially this one, which is a Pisces Taurus, so it's an earth-water sextile, which always manifests when you allow yourself to pay attention to what's outside there and allow something into your life. So otherwise, you need to go out with the air and fire sextiles. You need to go out, and you yourself need to make it happen. Here, you need to actually realize that something is at your disposal. Now, if you look at the three ladies here, Venus is the lover, Juno is the wife. This time they are nicely walking hand in hand with a semi-sextile, so that's good. And what is really not quite working here is the Juno Pallas Athena square, although there's a Pallas Athena Venus trine, which is brilliant for us. So the three archetypes sometimes clash, and sometimes we are able to kind of make them work, but they really denote three very distinct and diverse feminine roles. Pallas Athena is the wise girl, the single woman who is not getting married, who wants to complete a task or a mission, something that needs her full attention. Venus is the lover. All she wants is love. And Juno is the first lady. All she wants is getting married and be at the position, the highest position possible as a wife, okay? Juno is Jupiter's wife. She's the queen of heaven, the mother of gods. So it's a very, very elevated position when you come to think of it. Now, what is not working here is the Juno Pallas Athena square. And if you come to think of it, yes, of course, they are very different. Pallas Athena wants to remain alone, and Juno wants to become committed. Okay, commitment is an issue here already with the Venus-Uranus opposition, but the Juno-Uranus bidirectional quincunx, it's bidirectional because Uranus is retrograde, gives us hope that you can actually reconcile your freedom urges within a committed relationship. And actually, if you can let go your notions of, oh, I will be happy alone. No, you won't, okay? I mean, after a while, yes, I mean, I'm not saying that if you have lived half your life in a committed relationship and you have children and they are grown up, that you necessarily need to stay in a bad marriage. I'm not saying that. But if you have never tried to commit yourself in a marriage or in a really committed relationship, then you don't know what you're missing. Because it's first of all, it's a huge source of joy. And also it is a huge way to develop, to evolve, let's put it this way. So on the 23rd, this is at your disposal. You can actually think about your own life, your commitment, your relationship. You can mend your relationship by allowing yourself more freedom or allowing your partner more freedom. And the key issue, because Venus rules that Uranus, don't forget, the key issue here is to love properly. And to find the way to love properly, which is always difficult because what is love for you may not be love for your significant other. So pay attention, listen, cater for his or her needs, and you might be much happier. And that's the aim of life. Bye-bye.